law of consonantal shift. Some important changes occurred during the period in which the parent Indo-European family of languages got diversified into several languages. These changes have often been described as law of consonantal shift. There are two laws of consonantal shifts. They are Graham's law of consonantal shift, and the other one is Werner's law of consonantal shift. Now, our concern at this point in time is Graham's law of consonantal shift. Jacob Grimm, as we know, was a great German scholar. He was a philologist, sociologist, a writer of some significance, and apart from other quality that he has had in him. But he is primarily known for his being a philologist of great order because of the law of sound shift, according to which there came about a change in the sound pattern, sometimes very early in the history of parent Indo-European family of languages, and that met Germanic group of languages, of which English is an integral part, made it different from the other members of the same family. Jacob Grimm discussed sound shift in terms of consonantal changes. He argued that the changes that occurred in the consonants was very regular, consistent, and uniform in nature, and they have all the characteristics of the signs that we come across, or the signs that has its attributes. Now, very same kind of thing we notice in his law of consonantal shift. There's consistency, there's uniformity, there's accuracy. All these are the epithets of signs. And same thing can be found in the theory as propounded by him, as propounded by Jacob Grimm. And because of that very reason, the law of consonantal shift came to be known after his name, and it is known as Graham's law of consonantal shift. Click it. Graham's law can best be described through three parts. Now, three parts are there which may help us to understand what is Graham's law all about. Now, the diagram is here, and that diagram will help us a lot. The first part of it is bha dha gha of non-Germanic group of languages in due course of time underwent a change, and in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, bha dha gha became ba da ga respectively. Now, bha dha gha and bha dha ga, they are aspirated voiced plosive consonant. Understand? Now, this bha da ga, bha became ba, dha became da, gha became ga. Now, all these sounds which are there, they are non-aspirated. They are not aspirated. You do not have bha, dha, gha you have ba, da, ga. Aspiration has been done away with. And because of which, if you look at the corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, and you may compare the difference that lies between what is there in non-Germanic group of languages will not be there when we see the words in the corresponding words of Germanic group of languages. For example, Sanskrit is a non-Germanic group of languages. It is one of the languages of Indo-European family which does not belong to Germanic group. And because of which, when we see here the words such as Bharata, in Bharata, bha gets aspirated. Now this bha, when it came to be used in Germanic group of languages, it became brother. Likewise, there is a dha in non-Germanic group of languages. Dha is there. Now this dha underwent change and became da. And the best example of it is the word of Sanskrit, Rudhira. And this Rudhira in English became red. Similarly, there is another sound, gha. This gha, when it came to be used in English, there is a change over there. And the change is noticeable when we come across to a word goose. Now earlier in Sanskrit it was ghansa, and ghansa became goose in English. So in the first part of Grimm's law, the first part says that in non-Germanic group of languages, all the sounds which were there in use, they underwent change from aspiration from being aspirated, they became non-aspirated when they came to be used, or when they came to pronounce in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, they became what? Non-aspirated voice plosive consonant. So this is the first part. Then we move towards the second part. Now ba, da, ga, which were there in non-Germanic group of languages, these sounds further underwent change, and these sounds which were there voice plosive consonants, these sounds were, you see, were transformed into what? Voiceless consonant. Voiceless consonant. Ba became pa, da became ta, and ga became ka. Now ba is bilabial plosive. Bilabial plosive consonant. And this ba is voice sound. Now this ba underwent a change and became pa in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages. Now say for example we have old Bulgarian word, and the best example of it can be illustrated through a word, Bulgarian word, and the Bulgarian word happened to be dubus. Dubus. Dubus is the word. Dubus. Now dubus is the word. Now this dubus, ba. Ba became pa. Ba is bilabial plosive, and this bilabial plosive, which is a voice sound, now here this dubus became deep in English. And as we know that English belongs to Germanic group of languages. It is one of the language which belongs to Germanic group of languages of Indo-European family. So ba became pa, and in Old Bulgarian it happened to be pronounced as dubus, and when it came to be used in English, in due course of time, it became deep. It became deep. So ba became pa. Likewise, there is another Lithuanian word, dubus. Slabu. Slabu is another word. Now this slabu, ba is there. Now this slabu became sleep in English. Sleep in English. Sleep in English. So ba became pa. Right? Then we move towards another sound. Da is there. Now da is what? Da is alveolar plosive voiced alveolar plosive consonant. Now this voiced alveolar plosive consonant became voiceless alveolar plosive consonant in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages. Now da became ta. So a lot of examples are there where we can notice how the change came about. Now look at the words such as dentum. Dentum is a word which is a Greek word. Now this dentum, when it came to be used or when it came to be pronounced in Germanic group of languages, this dentum became da became what? Da became ta. So this became tooth. Likewise, there is another word, deka. Deka is another word which is a Greek word. Now this deka, when it came to be used in Germanic group of languages, and especially when it came to be pronounced in English, it became tin. Right? Now, the last sound of this part is ga, and ga, as we know, is velar, voiced velar plosive consonant. Voiced velar plosive consonant. Now this voiced plosive consonant became voiceless velar plosive consonant. Voiceless velar plosive consonant. Now best example of it in the corresponding word may be traced in the word. Say for example, there is a word in Greek. Greek word is guno. Guno. This guno became kuno in English. Guno became kuno in English. So we notice here that in the second part, all the sounds which were there in use, in vogue earlier in the parent language, or especially non-Germanic group of languages, we notice that these voiceless plosive consonant, voice plosive consonant underwent change and became this voice plosive consonant underwent change and became voiceless plosive consonant in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages. So ba became pa, da became ta, ga became ka. So this is the second part. Now the next and final part is when pa, ta, ka, when they, in due course of time, as the time passed on, these sounds became voiceless fricative in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages. So pa became, ta became, ka became ha. So these are the changes that which are very noticeable and we can trace out. Now the best example of these can be found in the words such as pater. Pater is a Latin word, P-A-T-E-R, or pita. Pita is a Sanskrit word, or peda is a pita or pater. Now these are the words of different languages, Latin, Persian and Sanskrit. So these were the words which are the words of non-Germanic group of languages. Now when they came to be used in Germanic group of language, in the corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, we notice there is some slight change because of the articulation, because of the place and manners of articulation. Now here, this the example of this pater. The first sound is Peter. Now Peter, Pita, or whatever. Now Peter. Now in all these words we may notice pa became, in English we have father. Peter became father. Father. Now Peter became father. Pa became, so this pa is plosive sound, voiceless plosive sound. This plosive sound, voiceless plosive sound, underwent change and became dental fricative, voiceless dental fricative. So Peter became father, pa became fa. Then the next sound is ta. Now ta, this ta sound in in Germanic group of languages, when it came to be used, it in corresponding words it became, right? So you have turn. A Polish word is turn. T-A-R-N, turn. This turn became thorn in English. Thorn in English, right? Now finally you have ka. This is this ka. Ka is what? Ka is vela, voiceless vela plosive constant. Now this voiceless vela plosive constant became in German, in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages became her. Now take for example, there's a word kaput, Latin word kaput. Kaput became head. Ka became her, so head. Likewise, there's another word, centum. Centum. Centum is a Latin word, and this centum, when it came to be used in English, it became hundred. Centum became hundred, right? So these are the examples of ka being changed into her. Now from this we come to know that there is some pattern, there is some regular pattern, there is some consistency which helps us how the changes occurred in Germanic group of, in corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, and how they became different from other members of Indo-European family of languages. This is all about the whole theory, or whole the law of consonantal shift as propounded by Grimm. Now this law holds in most circumstances, in most with regard to most of the words, with regard to most of the corresponding words. It holds the theory or the law holds to be true, and it is very relevant and it's very productive and very fruitful. But it is not such a law which does not have any pitfalls. Now there are some shortcomings in this law which is noticeable in number of words where it is not applicable. Now take for example, there is a word such as father. Father Now father. Now father, in father this is the sound, right? Now as per Grimm's law, pa became fa. Pa became fa. Okay. Now father, and it is Peter. Peter. Pa became fa. Okay, no problem. Now as per Grimm's law, it should not be this. Da should not be there. It should be sa. It is not so over there. So it does not hold to find any ground over there, and it is not in consonance with the law of consonantal shift as propounded by, as invented by Jacob Grimm. And then there is another word, centum. Now in Kintum, we may notice ka became ha, right? Now this ta should be tha, but it is not that, it is da here. And in this case too, we do not find it goes along with the law of consonantal shift as described by Jacob Green. So somewhere along the line, we find it does not, you see, it does not hold ground in some of the cases. With regard to initial sounds, it holds the ground, it is very relevant, and it is very fruitful for a person to know how the changes came about in the corresponding words of Germanic group of languages, how they became the sounds, consonantal sounds underwent change and became different from the other members of Indo-European family of languages. This is all about law of consonantal shift as given by Jacob Green. That's all about it. Thank you very much.